Everyone loves a good bridge. They're very convenient for crossing rivers, for crossing over roads. However, I rather like the underside of bridges because you get to see all of this magnificent metalwork that makes them do all those great bridgey things. I found this really fantastic bridge and I'm going to try and capture it and celebrate it for all it's worth from down here with my smartphone. Now, there is this convenient handrail here that I'm going to use to stabilize my camera, but also to try and get that horizontal plane so I can get this shot as in line, as symmetrical as is possible, because with geometric shots, that's kind of what you want. The other thing that's going to help is counting these girders in the undercarriage of this bridge. There are 19 of them, I've counted. It's more difficult to count straight lines when they're close together than you think it is, but there are 19, so I've got number 10 right in the middle of my shot here. Grid lines on for architectural stuff, and I think this is looking how I want it to look. It's not just about the middle, it's about those horizontals as well, and I think we're lined up with those cross beams. So just tapping on focus, making sure that where my eye is drawn to is nice and sharp, and let's just take a few exposures there. Now, the other thing to consider here is the angle of my camera. So if I angle all the way up, for example, I've got this wonderful kind of geometric pattern. It feels quite abstract because I wouldn't really know as a viewer what that is without the context of the river and the supporting brickwork. That tells me that this is a bridge. So just try a few different angles. I mean, I can angle all the way down, and I've got, because the tide's out, a bit of the banks here, a bit of this this shingle beach, a bit of the water. But actually, I think something which favours these patterns. These are the most interesting thing. Just this most prominent beam here on that top third, I think is going to sell this image the best for me. And I think I'm going to be very happy with how this shot comes out. With this shot, I was angling my phone quite a long way down, and I've managed to get a lot of this foreshore, some of that water lapping up. You can just see these little waves there, and then a good chunk of the bridge. And while it's kind of nicely aligned there, the things that I'm not quite so keen on are, well, the water is just a little bit blown out. I've lost a lot of the detail on the water, and that's fine, but I think the biggest sin for me is not making enough of the bridge. That's the unique feature of this shot, and I don't think I've quite made as much of it as I can. So while it's pleasant enough, I think I can do a lot better. My phone is angled right up into the undercarriage of this bridge here, and on the whole, I find this a pleasing shot, except for these cross beams at the top, which I didn't notice when I was taking the shot, but I find they're a real distraction for me. I want my viewers' eyes to start at the top and make their way to the bottom, but instead, as a viewer, I kind of get caught up by those cross beams. They are an unwelcome distraction that really takes away from the brilliant symmetry of this bridge otherwise. This shot is very pleasing to me. I like how, as a viewer, and I hadn't quite anticipated this when I was framing up, my eyes kind of go in two directions. I'm always interested in how, as a photographer, you can direct your viewer's attention and send them on a journey across your shot. And my eyes not only go from the top down, but I hadn't appreciated that they can go from the bottom and then flow upwards. I love the fact that on the bottom two corners as well, we've got these little bits of negative space that really just tease the background here, but don't distract. It's beautifully lined up. The grid lines, I'm sure, were a real help there. And I can just see the brickwork across the bottom. This image is the best of all of the different bits of the shot that I was trying to celebrate. And I'm very happy with it.